Hi, this is Amy Romeo from the jewelry making and craft blog amyromeo.com, and today in this video I'll be showing you how to make these beautiful patterned cork faux leather earrings with a Cricut. Aren't they pretty? This material is so easy to cut, it's fun to use, and the patterns are beautiful, so you only need to cut a simple shape, making this project perfect for beginners that want to learn how to cut faux leather earrings with their Cricut. I'll have 4 different shapes for you free in my resource library. Those are SVG files that you can upload to Cricut Design Space and cut these earrings yourself. So if you're ready to learn how to make cork earrings with your Cricut, let's get started. Let's go over the tools and materials I'll be using to make these cork earrings. I'll be using the Cricut Maker, but you could also use the Explore Air 2 or the Cricut Joy or a Silhouette, whatever machine you have, but I'll be demonstrating with a Cricut Maker. I'll be using the purple strong grip mat to cut the faux leather and some blue painter's tape to tape the material down to the mat. Now this cork is a patterned cork. I'm not applying the pattern to it. It's already on the cork. It's printed on the front, and then it has sort of a fabric backing. And I'll link to this assortment pack of cork. I got this from Amazon, and there's also this really pretty set of cork that I want to play with. And if you didn't want patterns or prints, this texture and color is really pretty, but I'll link to all of these for you. The cork is kind of a thinner material, so you're going to want to put something on the back. And I'm going to be putting heat transfer vinyl, specifically foil iron-on the back. It adds some structure and some interest, and it's going to make the earrings look more finished. I'll also let you know a couple other options you have for putting a back, but you will want to put a back on this material. I'll be heat pressing the foil iron-on to the back of the cork faux leather, and I'll be using my Easy Press Mini. You could also use a regular Easy Press. I'll be using a cover sheet. I'm using a Teflon sheet here. You could use parchment paper or butcher paper. The SVG files for these shapes will have the hole cut already, but if the hole doesn't cut all the way through for some reason, I always like to have my 1/16 inch hole punch to finish off the holes. And I'll use my craft scissors, my weeding tool, and 2 pair of flat nose pliers to attach my earring hooks with jump rings. I just wanted to show you quickly, these are the SVG files that I'll be putting in my resource library for you, so you can try this project yourself. There's 4 very simple shapes. This is a 1-layer earring design. Because these patterns are so pretty, they don't need lots of layers or lots of bling. Very simple, great for fall, nice lightweight earrings for summer too. So these are the 4 shapes I'll be giving you. Let me show you how to go over to my blog at amyromeo.com and go into my resource library and grab these so you can craft along with me. So to get the free earring SVGs for the cork project, no, that was stupid. Okay, let me start again. So to get the free earring SVG shapes for these cork earrings, you'll want to head over to my blog at amyromeo.com and then click on the resource library tab. If you already have a password to the resource library, you can go in there and look for design number 185. You'll want to click on the blue link that is the headline that says design 185 cork earrings, and that'll download the files directly onto your device. If you don't have a password to the library, click on Get a Password and let me know what email address I should send the password to. And once you fill out that form, you'll receive the password immediately via email. Return here to the resource library and download the SVG. Once you're in Cricut Design Space, then you'll want to click the Upload button once you're in a new canvas. And then you'll click Upload Image and you will browse to where the SVG file is. The SVG file comes in a zipped folder automatically, so you'll need to unzip it before you can upload it here to Cricut Design Space. So I've already uploaded my SVG here that's unzipped. I will click on it and click Insert Images. And then you'll see the 4 shapes come into your canvas. Again, these are simple 1-layer shapes because the patterns on these cork sheets are so pretty, they don't need multiple layers. So you can see the holes are already in the earrings, and I will show you how to not cut the holes if you, for some reason, don't want to cut them. But first I wanted to show you how to click off any of these shapes that you don't want to cut. let's say you didn't want to cut all 4 of these earring shapes at once, you would just click on the eye to hide the ones that you don't want to cut. So I'm going to be cutting this one today. You don't need to size these any larger or smaller. They are optimally sized for earrings, but you can if you'd like to. If you do size them, then you will want to make the hole yourself manually. So you'll want to hide this hole so that it doesn't cut with the Cricut. The hole won't be the correct size. So the way to do that, first we need to ungroup these shapes so that we can adjust them individually. Click on one and then click contour. And you can see the 2 cuts that the Cricut is going to make. One is the hole and one is the outline. You'll just click on the hole and then that will contour or hide the hole, and then it won't cut. See how that works? Contour. You can either click on the hole here or you can click on the layer here and just double check that the holes are hidden. So I actually want to cut the holes in this project because the cork cuts really well and it's easy. So let me just put those holes back real quick and then we're set to go. So I'll click the Make It button and you'll see the 2 earring shapes on my mat, and I like to drag them apart just a tiny bit, give them a little bit of space because I will be taping the faux leather down to the mat. Just want to give myself a little bit of room on the edges. It's not necessary to mirror these shapes because they are symmetrical images. There's no text that needs to be mirrored. So we're all set here. Click continue. And then I like to cut my cork sheets the same way I cut faux leather. So I'll be using the faux leather paper thin setting with the regular fine point blade that comes in the Cricut. That's why you can cut this material with the Joy or the Explorer machines because we're just using the standard fine point blade. If you don't have this faux leather paper thin as a setting here in your favorites, you can click on Browse All Materials here and search for it and then find it. So I'm going to click on that, and I like to change my pressure to more. This faux leather paper thin setting is an automatic double cut, and we will repeat the cut if necessary, which would make for a total of 4 cuts. That's why I like this setting. So faux leather paper thin, more pressure, and we're ready to press our HTV onto the back of the cork and then cut out our shapes. So the first thing I want to do is apply the foil iron-on to the back of my cork sheet before I make the cut. And the reason I do that is so that the foil iron-on on the back or the heat transfer vinyl is applied perfectly because you're cutting both layers at the same time. It's a little trick. I actually have a video on 4 different ways to put a back on faux leather earrings, which also applies to cork. So if you want to check that out, I will link to it for you. This method is one of the 4 methods. I also show you in that video how to make a second copy of the earring shape and then glue the front and the back together. So if you're interested in making these double-sided with the cork instead of putting heat transfer vinyl on the back, then you're going to want to check that out. So I looked in my mat preview on Cricut Design Space, and it shows me that I need to cut a little piece of cork and heat transfer vinyl that's about 3 inches by 3 inches so that my earring shapes will cut completely. So I'm going to cut a little piece of the foil iron-on in that size, and I will also cut my cork about the same size. As I said before, adding something on the back just adds some interest. It's going to make the cork a little bit stiffer and not so thin. And it also, if you're selling your earrings, it's going to make them look more professional and finished. So I've got my Easy Press Mini on the lowest setting. If you wanted to do this with a home iron, you could. I get that question a lot. I would start with a very low setting with a home iron, no steam. Make sure there's no moisture coming out of your iron, and just start with really low temperatures. Make sure you're using a cover sheet, even if you're using a home iron. And if you're going to start making a lot of earrings, you're going to want to invest in one of these Easy Press Minis because they're just so convenient. So I've got the printed cork on one side, and I've got the foil iron-on shiny side up on the back. And I'm going to put this right here and cover with my little Teflon sheet and just go ahead and press. This will be hot to the touch, so be careful. And then trying to keep this flat, you'll want to peel the clear cover sheet off of the cork and the heat transfer vinyl. If you keep this flat, it's gonna keep your piece as wrinkle-free as possible, which is nice. And basically, the look I'm going for is just the foil iron-on the back and the cork on the front. So now that I've got this ready to go, I'm going to put it on my mat. I'm using the purple Strong Grit mat, and I want to put my material in the top left corner like it showed on the mat preview. And because this is a patterned cork, you'll just want to pay attention to the pattern when you're doing this and sort of think about where the shapes are going to cut. This pattern is going up and down, so if I put it sideways, then it would be cutting, you know, it would just be a different look. So think about that before you tape this down. This is going to go face down or pretty side down in the top left corner. And I like to use blue painter's tape to tape down on all sides. And this blue painter's tape is reusable, so I like to peel up the tape carefully when I'm done with the cut and just save it and use it. I can use it a couple more times. This is the 3/4 inch blue painter's tape, which I like better for this process than the 1 inch painter's tape. But really, any blue painter's tape from the hardware store, or even they sell it at the grocery store sometimes, that works. So I've got that taped down and ready to go. I'm going to load it into the Cricut. Whenever you're cutting faux leather with your Cricut, you want to make sure that these little white star wheels are off to the side. You don't want those wheels rolling over your material and making little indentations. So I've got this set to go, and I'm confirming on my computer that my material setting is faux leather paper thin with more pressure. And again, this is just the standard fine point blade. So let's load that into the machine. And we're ready to go. We'll press the C button to start the cut. So as I mentioned, the faux leather paper thin setting is an automatic double cut, which means the material was cut twice. I always like to take my weeding tool and just sort of get underneath the cut and check and see if the cut was complete. This is a very thin material, so the cut does look good, but if you can tell that the cut didn't go all the way through, then you can just press the C button again to repeat the cut. So repeat the cut, check it again. You can repeat the cut as many times as needed. That's a great tip for when you're cutting thicker materials like chunky glitter or a thicker faux leather. Just repeat the cut and you'll see most times it's going to come out perfectly. So this looks good. I'm going to unload the mat, and I will just take these off here, and let me show you how nicely the hole came out. Maybe that's a better way to show you. See that? So the hole came out really nicely. And again, if it didn't, just use your 1/16 inch hole punch. You could even just use the sharp tip of your weeding tool to poke a hole, but the Cricut did do a nice job with the holes here. So I'm just gonna poke that through on both of them. And then I'll show you how to attach the earring hooks. This is such a simple project. Great for beginners. If you like faux leather earrings, or you like larger earrings, but you're worried sometimes about the weight or if they're heavy, these are not heavy at all. This material is so light and fun. I'm struggling to get this little, there we go, I got it out. So to put the earring hooks on is very simple. We've got our 2 hooks, and the hook has a loop at the bottom. And what I like to do is turn this loop from the direction it is now. I like to use my pliers to turn it 90 degrees so that the loop is facing this way instead, and that will help our earrings hang straight. And I'll show you what I mean. I also have a whole video just about that if you're interested in learning more. And then I'm going to be using 2 jump rings to attach my earring hooks to the earrings. These are 6mm size. I like this size, and I like 5mm. On Amazon, these come in, I like this little pack. It has lots of different finishes of 6mm jump rings, and I'll link to this for you. This is really handy to have. So the first thing I'll do is turn the earring hook, and what I like to do is grip the bottom hook with flat nose pliers, and then use my thumb and forefinger to grip as much of the hook as possible, and then just twist. And now, let me see if you can see that. The earring hook is facing that direction. And that's the key to making your earrings hang straight. This is the before and this is the after. So we're gonna do this for both of these. Just grip and twist. If you're having a problem with these earring hooks breaking, you want to make sure that you're gripping as much of the hook as possible in the jaws of the pliers. See how I'm covering the entire hook? And then you want to grip as much of this part of the hook in your other hand. That helps keep these wires from breaking. If you're doing that and you're still having problems with the earring hooks breaking, then you're going to want to try using different hooks. Earring hook quality, wire size, those are all different variables. So I've got my jump ring here. I don't know if you can see that. I have the top, the opening of the jump ring is here at the top. So I'm going to grab with pliers on one side and on the other side and just twist to open. You probably can't see that very well, but I've got a whole video on this if you want to check that out. I'm just going to put on the earring hook, the cork earring, then the earring hook, and reverse the twist to close up the jump ring. And that's it. Isn't that pretty? Let me do that again on the other side. So the opening of the earring hook is facing up at the 12 o'clock position. I've got one pair of flat nose pliers at the 9 o'clock position, and I'm going to put the other pair at the 3 o'clock position. And then using one wrist, I'm going to turn. You can either turn up or turn down. I'm left-handed, so I usually turn with my left, but it doesn't matter which way you turn. Put the earring on, and then the earring hook, making sure that your hook is facing the right way. And twist to close. And that's it. Aren't those pretty? So pretty for fall. So remember to head over to my blog and grab the free earring SVGs for this project. Of course, these earring shapes are very simple and they're great for any kind of faux leather, not just cork. So if you're new to making faux leather earrings, you're gonna wanna grab these SVGs from my resource library and play around with chunky glitter, faux leather, printed cork, whatever material you're playing with. And if you like this video, I hope that you will stick around and watch some more videos on my channel. I love making jewelry and crafts with my Cricut and more. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.